That was a crowded trade and everybody was running for safety there. So I guess with the market, everything seems to be correcting there. Mr. Ravi Uppal of JSPL is with us. Mr. Uppal, the new mining bill has been approved. What is the good news and what is the bad news from your perspective?
Well, first of all, I think it's a great initiative going forward. I think this will really bring a lot of transparency, a lot of certainty within the mining sector. And I think this will also unleash a lot of potential within the mining sector. Because so far there was so much uncertainty and unpredictability which was really haunting the sector. I think we should be able to come out of that. So that is the positive side. And I think the extent of interference with the sector will also reduce dramatically. Right. Because of the mines are being given lease, for periods ranging from 20 years to 50 years. So I think those are the positive sides. But the only thing that worries me that, in the bill it is also suggested that we should hike up the royalty which is being paid by bringing in, the district development element and also the national mineral development charge. I want to bring to your notice that the extent of royalty being paid in India is already the highest in the world. Let me give you an example of iron ore. Nowhere in the world the royalty which is paid on iron ore is more than 4 to 4.5%. A country like Brazil, they pay just about 2%. In India, after the new bill, comes into effect, the total, royalty that we have to pay will be about 20.3%. So, our competitors from outside, whether it's China, Russia, Brazil, they are paying in a percentage which is less than 4.5%. So you can imagine the local manufacturing industry using the iron ore or coal, they will be put to a serious disadvantage at those rates. So this is one issue that really sort of worries us.
Right. Mr. Uppal, just in continuation with our chat, this morning, we were chatting about as to how royalty costs would also make some of the projects unviable. Do you get that sense as well?
Well, not the projects, but the end use. For example, if, you are going to supply the iron ore and one has to pay 20.3% royalty, obviously the mining companies are going to recover that cost from the end users. And, let's say, for example, the iron ore and coal are two key elements which go into the steel industry. If on both of them, the extent of royalty and the other fees which are not being introduced goes up to 20.5%. So we have a disadvantage of nearly 15 to 16% compared to anyone else who's producing it outside. So, and, given today's situation, where the steel industry is passing through a huge challenging phase, and the imports are, more than doubled in India, the local demand hasn't grown.
Right.
So you can
Mr. Uppal, I just urge you to hold on with us for a minute or so. We have the Mines Minister himself, Mr. Narendra Singh Tomar, chatting with us exclusively. Let's listen into what he has to say first.
Mines Secretary speaking to ET now. Sir, firstly, आप अगर इस बिल की कुछ highlights हमारे साथ share करना चाहेंगे, sir, the big highlights of the bill.
मिनरल्स और माइंस अमेंडमेंट बिल पारित होने के पश्चात माइनिंग आवंटन के क्षेत्र में पारदर्शिता आएगी, भ्रष्टाचार समाप्त होगा। अब ई ऑक्शन के माध्यम से खदानों का आवंटन किया जाएगा। एक्सप्लोरेशन की जो बड़ी आवश्यकता देश में थी, इस अमेंडमेंट के बाद एक्सप्लोरेशन की प्रक्रिया को हम बढ़ा सकेंगे और जो अपेक्षा है उसके अनुरूप नेशनल मिनरल ट्रस्ट का प्रावधान किया है। कुछ सार्वजनिक उपक्रमों को भी एक्सप्लोरेशन की दृष्टि से नोटिफाइड करने का प्रावधान किया है। एक्सप्लोरेशन को भी हम आगे बढ़ा सकने में सफल हो सकेंगे। और बड़ी बात यह है कि जहां जंगल है वहीं पर आदिवासी और खनिज है। खनिज को दोहन करने की लोगों ने कोशिश की और लेकिन उस क्षेत्र में रहने वाला जो आदिवासी है, गरीब आदमी है या माइनिंग से जो क्षेत्र प्रभावित हो रहा है, उसके सुधार की दृष्टि से और व्यक्ति के कल्याण की दृष्टि से कोई प्रावधान बिल में नहीं था। इस बार इस बिल में हमने डिस्ट्रिक्ट मिनरल फाउंडेशन का प्रावधान किया है और यह मिनरल फाउंडेशन में रॉयल्टी के बराबर की राशि का 1/3 इससे निश्चित रूप से आदिवासी भाई और बहनों के जीवन स्तर में बदलाव लाने के लिए सरकार काम करेगी।
तो सर निश्चित तौर से इससे इंडस्ट्री को भी फायदा होगा क्योंकि ट्रांसपेरेंसी आएगी और एक्सप्लोरेशन भी बढ़ने की उम्मीद है। इंडस्ट्री को भी इससे काफी फायदा होगा।
निश्चित रूप से जब पारदर्शिता आएगी, स्थायित्व भी आएगा। जो प्रक्रियाओं में विलंब होता था वह भी समाप्त होगा। प्रक्रिया सरल होगी और प्रक्रिया की सरलता, पारदर्शिता, इसको देखकर निवेशक भी आएंगे और निवेशक आएंगे तो इंडस्ट्री बढ़ेगी। इंडस्ट्री बढ़ेगी तो रोजगार के अवसर सृजित होंगे और हिंदुस्तान के सामने जो बड़ी समस्या बेरोजगारी की है उस समस्या से निपटने की स्थिति में ये बिल का अमेंडमेंट बहुत सहायक होगा।
तो सर ये कहना उचित रहेगा कि आगे जितने भी माइंस और मिनरल्स का जो अलॉटमेंट होगा वो ऑक्शन के ही जरिए से होगा।
जो 10 मेजर मिनरल हैं और कोल, तो कोल के बिल पर अभी चर्चा हो रही है, लेकिन जो मेजर मिनरल सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट से गवर्न होते हैं वो सारे के सारे अब ऑक्शन के माध्यम से ही आवंटित किए जाएंगे।
सर एक आखिरी सवाल, क्या रॉयल्टी पेमेंट इंक्रीज होगा कंपनीज का इस बिल के बाद? सर
अभी रॉयल्टी तो पिछले दिनों अभी हमारी सरकार आए हुए 9 महीने व्यतीत हुए हैं और इसमें हम 10 से 15% रॉयल्टी कर चुके हैं और जब ऐसी आवश्यकता पड़ेगी तो सरकार विचार करेगी। अभी फिलहाल इसकी आवश्यकता नहीं है।
थैंक यू।
हमारे साथ बात।
Okay, no clarity on whether it's going to be via an auction route or not, if I understood him correctly.
No, I mean, my understanding is that the entire process or allocation of mile would happen via the e-auction route. So I think we sorted on that. What I was not able to really understand the last part on the royalty, increase part. And Ravi, were you able to understand the minister's comment on the royalty part? Because your understanding of the bill is that the royalty will move up. And I think the minister said that royalty charges will be increased only, when there is requirement.
No, that I think that Minister Mali was right on everything that he said. When it comes to royalty, it's clearly provided here in the bill. There will be 3 components.
Okay.
Number 1, the royalty by itself. Then there is a district mineral development foundation is being set up, where you have to pay 1/3 of the royalty amount in addition to royalty. So, for example, if you take iron ore, where in Odisha we pay 15%, then we are required to pay to the district mineral foundation 1/3 of that, which is 5%. That makes it 20%. Third is a national mineral trust is being set up, and they are saying 2% of the royalty amount will be paid to them. So 2% of 15%, 3%. So if you add it all, 20.3%. So it's not just the royalty, but the other stuff new. And, it will be that it becomes of income.
But, Ravi, look at the other side of the equation, which is that if part of the royalty payment would be moving towards a fund and the objective is really to promote new exploration activity, which indirectly is great news.
Well, I'm not questioning the exploration part of it. All I'm saying is that the 15% by itself is a very high rate. The minister himself said is being hiked up from 10 to 15. And then after 15, you're introducing 2 more levies. And you're effectively taking it to 20.3. So, and I told you that internationally, the total royalty, it never exceeds 4.5 to 5%. And most of the big countries who are our competitors, the royalty rate is between 2 to 3%. So the end user industry of these minerals are going to be put to serious disadvantage in terms of cost. I think this is something that Minister did not cover in his comments.
Right. So, Ravi, let's, break the maths for us. You're a listed company. How will life change for JSPL? You've done your numbers. You know how things will move. The royalty calculations have been done by you already.
Yeah. Well, I can't give you exact numbers because until the bill was approved, we obviously are not working out numbers. Now that the bill is approved, we have to study the impact of this on the cost of the mineral that we are procuring. But we are not the only exception. I think everyone who basically is going to use these minerals, their input cost is going to go up.
So net in the short term, this is negative and earnings for not only for your company, but for the entire steel sector per se could be under pressure, at least for a quarter or so?
Not only steel sector, but any other sectors, for example, the bauxite people. For them also the cost is going to go up. The ones who are using manganese, all the notified minerals which are there of the Schedule 1 Part A and Part C, they will all be affected to that extent.
Okay, Mr. Uppal, we're going to leave it at that, and thanks much for so candidly chatting with us on this subject. So it would be worth a revisit is to see as to how these stocks would be reacting. Like Mr. Uppal pretty categorically mentioned that this is going to impact the industry at large. It's a high case of royalty, and that's going to negatively impact the profitability of these companies. From that story to another, days after news emerged that FTIR lawyer Cyril Shroff met Minister of State for Finance Jayant Sinha with a settlement proposal in the NSCL scam case, top sources in the government have completely ruled out the ministry's involvement in any such settlement. ET Now's policy editor Supriya Srinath joins us now with exclusive details. Supriya, what is it that you're picking up?